homeless center?
The one in Philadelphia, or what we should have here?
Both.
Well, what a way. Well, the homeless center that they do, I mean, they take people, and it's, look, everybody I've found, some people are homeless because of situations.
Right.
Some people are homeless because of mental issues. They close up all the mental places. Right. Some people are homeless because of drug addiction.
Right.
Been there, done that. Some people are homeless because they want to be. There's some people don't want to get off the streets.
Right.
I haven't figured that out yet. Matter of fact, I'll be doing something the next 3 days, starting at this evening at about 5 or 6 o'clock. I will be staying outside 72 hours, praying and experiencing some of what they go through for the next 3 days. I said one for the Father, one for the Son, and one for the Holy Ghost. That's the way I look at it. But to not to draw to the attention to it, but to experience it. I've done it once before. I've talked to you, Dave, about my son that was gunned down in front of my home in 1993, and a year later on the anniversary, 9 kids had died in that year and a half. They were still shooting back and forth over in Seaside, California, where I grew up. And so I said, well, what are we going to do? And how do we stop these kids? And da-da-da-da-da. And it's like, well, somebody said, well, why don't you pray? So it's like, well, that's what we do. We pray.
Now, was this your one and only son?
He was my stepson.
It was your stepson.
I have no biological heirs.
And that's what your book is about.
That's what my book is about, because all 5 of my children were taken in Planned Parenthood. I know some people say, they weren't taken, you chose to go. No, I didn't choose to go. The propaganda machine of Planned Parenthood, or what it was called up until 1973, the Negro Project, by Margaret Sanger, who was a Hitler manifesto, and she had a desire to eliminate black and brown people. That was her mandate, just like Hitler wanted to eliminate Jews. So, and she was part of that eugenics movement, not birth control, but genocide. Matter of fact, so since 73, 20 million black babies have been aborted. 60 million babies have been aborted in our country since 73. And how can you take a life?
So 60 million babies have been aborted, and of the 60, 20 million of those were just black babies.
We were the target. 79% of all Planned Parenthoods are in minority neighborhoods by design. Okay, and so systematic, black and brown. I can tell you for a fact, like in Santa Cruz, California, where I used to pastor, they had the Planned Parenthood there. They added another Planned Parenthood down in Watsonville. Wow. Well, what's in Watsonville? 79% Hispanic community. Why are you moving in there?
Right.
To eliminate black and brown people. Right? And you know, we can debate it at another time, but there's no time for you to debate here. But you need to understand that in 76, 77, 83, and 85, the 5 children I should have had, because of my promiscuity, were eliminated. So I have no heirs. I'm the last of my bloodline. Hence the topic of the big book, No More Rivers. And I grown up with all my friends' kids and your kids, Dave. I watched your little children run around here, and the young men and women they have become, and all these things. And but I was blessed to get a wife in 2002 that had children, and my previous relationship, she had kids. So I got I got 24 kids that call me Papa Bear. And they're growing up, and they're one of the kids has 3. So in essence, I have 3 great grands right now.
So how long before the book is completed?
The book should be out by the summer. Like I said, I got this great writing program. That's been my problem. I'm a talker, not a writer. Right. And one of my friends said, "Why don't you get a talking program, and then they're going to help me edit it." So I can just talk my stories. I got all this stuff inside of me. Transcribe it, and I'll get it down, and they'll put it together, and the first one will be out right before the summer.
Okay.
The small book, and then the big one, because I found out so much more about my family that I did not know until the last few years of my life.
But this shows how all-encompassing this prayer is going to be. So you're going to be on the corner of Blossom and Highway 1?
Highway 33.
Highway 33, on the corner there. And it's the kickoff
Kickoff
of the revival.
Exactly.
But it has an undertone.
Yeah.
Of prayer for health and safety and security. It's
prayer for the community of Dos Palos. I grew up in Seaside, California, which was kind of like the black sheep of the Monterey Peninsula back in the day. Everybody, and so we kind of got looked down on by most of the other parts of this thing. So that prayer, whether anybody understands it or not, those 3 days, the shooting stopped.
Right.
Nobody died for about 10 years in that venue, okay? So God answered my prayer, not just mine, but a lot of other people. Right. So here I am in this area now. Dos Palos, it's like it's over there, turned down between the cotton fields,
Yeah.
And Dos Palos is a thriving community that it used to be. A lot of stuff going on around there. So I'm not outing nobody or doing anything. I'm just praying. God, change some lives. One of the churches in town has a sign that says Dos Palos, God's town. And it is. God told us, his church, his group of people, to take the land. And I'm not trying to stop you from doing what you're doing, but I'll let God stop you. Yeah. And I'm going to pray. I'm going to be out there praying day and night. I'll be catnapping. That's what it says. Somebody said, "You're going to be awake for 3 days?"
So what do
I wish I could.
What do you got to say to the community of Dos Palos? Are you inviting them to come out and pray with you?
Yes.
To pray for anyone that they may need to want to pray for?
Man, I get a list on my phone daily of people that have went to the hospital, people that have passed away, praying for families. I've been to a funeral every weekend since December 31st.
So it's an open invitation.
Open invitation. Come pray with me. Take 5 minutes. Yeah. I'm going to be there.
Yeah.
I'll be at night with my sleeping bag.
So you'll be there 72 hours.
72 hours.
On the corner of Blossom and Highway 33.
Praying for the city.
24/7 for 3 days.
3 days.
And it's an open invitation to come out and pray with you.
I'll be drinking water and taking my meds.
To strengthen. Now, will you be eating?
Yes, I will. I'm not. It's not a fast.
This is not a fast.
Not a fast. Not a fast.
Okay.
I'm diabetic, so I got to take my medicine.
But I know you periodically fast, and that's why I was asking, will you be fasting?
Actually, we fast on, we do intermittent fasting on Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, and Sunday. 4 o'clock on those days. We have a prayer call at 5. Matter of fact, I'll be doing my call. We got a conference call. I'll make sure I leave that with you. Anybody wants to come on the call, it's free. You can come on the call and pray with us. We'll be praying right at 5 on Thursday, and that'll be the one day we're out there. Tonight, matter of fact, too, because I'm going out there tonight, so we'll be praying tonight and Thursday. So we're praying for every need.
Right.
Every need to be met. God, Jesus, in the Word, he says, God is able to supply all your need according to his riches and glory. Not needs. There's no S on there. Right. It's need. Right. We need revival. The church needs revival. And we are coming together, the pastors, the people that love God, and we're going to show up and we're going to get preached to by a great preacher, a missionary, a revivalist, a pastor. He's going to bring some word, and hopefully he'll sow something into you that'll make you stronger in your resolve to serve God. That's what I do. I serve God when I'm a hand of God. When I help the homeless, when I help this, I could do more. But I do what I do for me, and I ain't blowing the horn on, you need to come go with me, but I got homeless people that they know they can count on me. Right. Got clothing. I got closets. I'm emptying my closets now, giving stuff away. I can't wear it all no way. And
so do you receive any type of support from any local religious organizations? Does anybody step up and say, hey, are you getting any support from
when I ask, and there's people that do, I can name some people, right now that have supported me in my travels, supported me when I speak. I don't get, people tell, I get, you can, as a speaker, you can command a fee. Of course, they got to get me there. They got to get me home. They got to feed me while I'm there, and they put an honorarium in your pocket. That's what pastor's doing. He's coming here. Quite honestly, what my pastor, he's my pastor, by the way, what he gets to go speak around the world, we don't have.
Right.
So I put up, matter of fact, I put up a PayPal account for the church. Anybody who wants to donate can, and I'll give you that information too. I tied it to our 81st anniversary. I said, I figure if you want to go to PayPal and donate $8.10 or $81 or $810 or $8,100, whatever you got, you know who you are. Right. Donate to the ministry for the revival and the 81st anniversary, all at one time. That helps pay the bill, and some of that helps deal with my. I got a small salary. I'm not a mega church pastor, but I take what I got. I laugh because I put $20 worth of gas in my car usually on Monday.
Now, okay, he's not going to say it, but I need to go take a picture of this car and put this up for everybody to see. This is a very humble individual. Now, he bought that car from me.
Yep, for $1,000.
For $1,000 years ago.
Yeah, it's still running.
And he's still driving that car. And,
I got a buck. I got a donut on there now.
Yeah.
Because my tire blew out Saturday.
So, Bruce, you give more than you receive. You receive a lot from God.
Oh, yeah.
And we know this. Yeah. But, Bruce, what would you say to people right now, if there's someone out there watching this video right now and is watching this video and is saying to themselves, well, the world around me today is saying that God doesn't exist. God was invented by the Greeks. God was a way to disguise what this empire was doing. And we know now, we're smart. We know your God doesn't exist. We got Google. What would you say to the person that's doubting? What would you say to the person that they see their society, they see what's going on, and they hear somebody like you, and they say, it all sounds good, but I just can't believe it because of what the educators are teaching us and what the world is showing us. What do you say to that person?
Dave, my walk with God, I grew up in the church. So, like we told them, I was on drugs before I was on drugs. I got drugged to church. That's what we say. I got drugged to church on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I sang in choirs, and I didn't live the life. When I got out free and went to college, I lived the life that I wanted to live. I was a DJ. I partied at clubs. I was on the road with Natalie Cole. I traveled, and I seen things, and then the drugs took over. I wound up. I tell people my best idea sent me to the pen. Yeah. And people say, what? It was a good idea when I thought it up. But then I wound up in the penitentiary for what I did. And there, I finally had time to read the Word of God myself. That's what we're doing in our church now. This year, I said, I asked in December, how many people have read the whole Bible? Yeah. Only 3 people in the church have read the whole Bible. So how can we say we're part of the team, God's team, and we haven't read the playbook?
And I'm just going to interrupt you right there for 1 second. I remember a moment I had with a pastor, and this pastor came to me, and he said, I want you to read this book, but I don't want you to read the Old Testament. I just want you to focus on the New Testament. And I understood where he was coming from, but I had to stop him right there. And I had to let him know that even God, Jesus Christ says, I'm the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost.
Everything he said.
I'm just all one.
Everything Jesus said was in the Old Testament.
And it comes from the Old Testament.
Yes.
But we hear a lot of pastors today. There are political undertones in a lot of their teachings because a lot of them are getting funding from either local or state governments. And I'm not saying all churches are having this, but we do see some of this going on.
Of course.
Where it is a money thing underneath.
Of course.
And then you have the good ones And they seems to be the ones that are out there, like First Baptist Church, Mount Moriah, out there doing it, bringing people together, spending 3 days on a corner praying for people, not getting paid for it.
Pancakes and waffles. And
there's no money coming in.
It's tough, man.
It is.
When the church was thriving, when it was huge, I go back to the history of this church that I wasn't here, 80-some years, and sometimes church was big, and big choir, and the big deacon board, the big other board. Now it's like, 10, 15, 20 people, all the churches. Yeah. I mean, we got a couple of good-sized churches here, they're doing the work, I can name them, and I know some of the pastors that are really doing it. And say, well, is it on the pastor? No, it's on the people. Right. Sheep get sheep. Okay, I do my part, but I've got an older congregation and some of the younger people. When I first got there, everybody was all excited because I'm a praiser, I'm a worshiper. But because of some political differences, people have walked away, and I love them. Same one. I loved them. I loved them when I got here, and I still love them. I don't beat them down. I don't tell them, say, look, I'm still going to be Bruce. Yeah. At the end of the day, God, we got a song that says, you know my name. God knows my name. And I love people. And some of those same people that walk away, they wind up calling you. Yeah. Pastor, can you help? Then now, I could be an eye for an eye or two for a two kind of guy. Yeah. And I could say, oh, heck no, you left me and you walked away. But no, that's not what we are. That's not what I am. Yeah. And God is, like you said, my life is an open book. I'm an only child. So I thought. Mom and Dad adopted me from my mom's cousin. My mom's cousin, excuse me. And I didn't find out until I was 51 years old that my mom was my mom's cousin. Wow. And then the size of my family is huge. I got brothers and sisters that I still haven't met. And some of them don't want to talk to me because they've got a political difference. Right. And that's amazing to me. You're my brother.
It is amazing how the political side of things really affects our families.
Shape our lives. It shouldn't shape our lives. Yeah. Whether you agree with me on what the president does, what the governor does, or the city council does, whether we agree on that, at the end of the day, we go to basketball games together, we shop together, we see each other.
So would you say that the government has overstepped its bounds?
Of course it has.
In that retrospect?
Of course it has. We got this thing everybody wants to throw separation of church and state. Yeah. That's one thing, first thing they say. That's the people that don't want to do nothing, have nothing to do with God. And I say, well, do you know where that came from? And they go, well, yeah, it's in the Constitution. I challenge anybody right now listening, if you can find the separation of church and state in the Constitution, even I don't got nothing, okay? But I challenge you right now. If you can find that in the Constitution, I'll buy you a house. Yeah, it's not there. Thomas Jefferson wrote that letter to the Danbury Baptist Church, and he was basically telling the government, you have no right telling the church what to do because the church belongs to God. And so we've turned that thing. Yeah. To where, like I said, I told you we're a constitutional republic. So as a constitutional republic, God is our head. Right. And it's down, and it's government up or government down.
But we're seeing what's going on in schools now.
Oh, man.
We're seeing the education is seriously lacking for our children. Yeah. We have kids that are graduating that can't even spell.
Can't read.
Can't read. Have, a very minor understanding of mathematics.
Come on.
And some of these kids are getting A's in school. But by the time they graduate, within months.
Wait, why should you have to go 12 years in preschool, elementary school, junior high? We had junior high. I didn't grow up in the middle school thing. Yeah. And then high school. Right. And then you have to go to college and take math again, and take the stuff again that you supposedly got over here. Right. Because when you get to college, you'll find out you don't know it.
Right.
And then college, you know, they do a little bit better job, and you got to pay all the money, and you got to do all that, and then you get all this stuff, and we're still an industrial nation, and we do all this stuff, and we got all these kids coming out of high school unprepared,
Right.
don't know nothing, can't fix nothing.
No.
You know, like case in point, your children, because I've seen them, my children, because I'm teaching them. Look, I want you to not only get an education, but I want you to think about a business,
Right.
an entrepreneurial situation. I'm an entrepreneur from the word go. Now, have I made a whole lot of money being an entrepreneur? Probably not. But I put people in business, and I watch them flourish with my ideas, and that's okay.
Right.
Like I say, I got a roof over my head. I got a bucket out there with 3 tires and a donut on it right now, but it's still running. It starts up. Somebody bought me a portable battery charger, because my battery keeps, I don't know what's wrong with the thing. It just stops, and I can't start. And but I got a little thing now. I can walk out and put it on. So this say people do recognize, Pastor, you need something. Yeah. Well, I'm telling you right now, if there's anybody out there's got a 4-door car that you're not using, and you want to donate it to the ministry, I want a 4-door car so I can pick 3 people up. Yeah. And take them to church. Because that little car there's a 2-door, you know, and you got to put somebody big and me in the back seat. It's kind of rough. But see, these are the things the beauty of living in a small community. Yeah. People know you. Some people call me. They say he's the bishop in the city. You know, I don't take that lightly. You know, that's a heck of a nomenclature. I got a relationship with every pastor.
Right.
You know, we all respect each other. They've got their mission that they've been given to do for their church. I've got mine. But we can all come together. Hence the revival. Right. Come together to be revived. Maybe we need to. Sometimes pastors, we need to cry. Sometimes the pastor got to be preached to. Amen. We preach every Sunday. Whatever God's given. We've been working on prayer for the last 4 or 5 weeks in my church. Wow. And not my church, but the church I pastor. And so it led to saying, what I did in '93, maybe it's time to do again. Maybe it's time to go and pray for the city. And I know, just because I thought it up, it was God-given, and other people say, hey, man, we're coming to join you. Somebody got to step out. Right. Just like Los Banos Today. Somebody had to step out.
Right.
You have revolutionized our community. Right. Other things are closing their doors and not giving us what we need. Unless something happens bad, then the people from the media run over from Fresno to shoot stuff, but by the time they get here now, it's already out. Right. We got our own kids that are doing great things. You know, my little baby shark. You know, we got children that are excelling in different areas. Nobody knows about our kids. We do. Right. And we want to see our kids. We want to deal with the homeless situation here. We want to deal with the drug epidemic situation here. My wife's a counselor. I know you. I'm going to tell her again. We're waiting on my wife to come and do what she does and talk about this opioid thing because that's where her degree area is, and we just shine the spotlight.
Well, you know, it's interesting. And I was having a conversation with someone the other day about this very topic. Most people don't want to get involved until it directly affects them.
Yeah.
And to harken back to COVID-19, how long are we going to ignore the fact that we need to protect our elderly now because these others that are not going to get sick are carriers or potential carriers? How many people have to die before you step up to the plate and say, let's protect them before they come into contact with these elderly? How many elderly need to die?
And how many have to die out of your house?
I mean, is this ignorance? Is it just me? Am I being overprotective? Is this ignorance, or is this out of the thinking of we don't want to create a fear? We don't want to be fear mongers.
One word that comes to mind: selfishness. We're selfish. We're selfish people, man. Yeah. But the Bible tells us very clearly, love thy neighbor
Right.
Now, then you ask, who's my neighbor? Well, they all around you. Right. Not just because they don't live next door to you,
right,
don't mean that they're not. And we have a mandate to, once again, I said, don't forget the widows and the poor. You know, give and it shall be given unto you. Good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over will other people give unto your bosom. I get stuff every day. Right. Sometimes I'm up against it. When I look around, I'm like, man, oh man, this bill came and that bill came, and they came at the same time, and I look over here and and I'm like, man, you know, because I don't, like I say, I'm not the mega church pastor.
Yeah.
But people, all of a sudden, man, somebody will show up and say, hey, man, I was thinking about you.
Yeah.
People call me from across the country, say, hey, man, I was thinking about you, man. I had a little extra. I wanted to put it in your account. And I said, okay, God, you keep doing this. Because he says, give and it shall be given. Good measure, pressed down, shaken together, will other men give into your bosom. You, everybody. I mean, I be like, man, what am I? I tell you, $20. I buy $20 worth of gas on Monday, and it usually runs out on Sunday.
I was doing an interview yesterday. Maria Phillips. They're hosting the 50th. It's an event that's going to be happening at the community center for Earth Day, in the celebration of the 50th anniversary of Earth Day.
Okay.
This event goes back, you know, Earth Day. It goes back to the 70s. You know, they're going to have someone there, and I was going to ask you if it was you, who's going to be there with their tower garden.
We will be there.
Yeah, you'll be there.
Our crew will be
Your
there.
whole crew.
Yeah,
So I thought of you.
Vertical farming.
Yeah, I thought of you. And that's something else he's involved with. You've never heard of the tower garden.
Growing my own food.
And it's amazing. It's all natural. It's a new method of farming that you guys are involved with, that you're bringing to the Central Valley. This is amazing technology. So if you're interested in seeing these tower gardens, they're going to be at the community center showing these during the Earth Day event.
Or you can go to brivers.towergarden.com.
Yeah, and check it out.
Check it out.
This is very interesting stuff.
There's a group of us here, a couple of pastors, a couple of preachers, a couple of lay people, and you know, I'll tell it like this. Kent Sandhagen, he's at the top of our little group, and Geneva Brett, and Doug Young, myself, Chuck Oreca, who's over our Boys and Girls. Matter of fact, the Boys and Girls Club, they're getting one.
Oh, nice.
They're the company that built them and does that is they give them to Boys and Girls Clubs all around the country.
Oh, wow.
And just growing your own fresh food. Me and my wife loves it. My wife has turned into, I call her Johnny-Etta Appleseed, because I got little plants all over my house right now, and we just plant them, nurture them, put them in the tower. They grow fresh lettuce.
You've got some
arugula.
videos. I think it's on your Facebook.
On my Facebook page.
And you're showing the progression. So if someone's interested, they can go to his Facebook. He's got the videos on there where you can see sort of the progression of, you know, from when you started, you put it all together, and then you have these videos where you're showing
eating
the food, and it's all fresh.
All you gotta do is wash it off in a little water, a little vinegar, and spin it in the spinner. My wife.
Now you're doing this no chemicals at all, right?
The liquid organic food, plant food, A and a B. I don't know what's in them, but you pour A with this much water, B with this much water, and the timer comes on. It's idiot proof.
Wow.
Because everything I tried to grow prior to September 8th last year, I killed.
Wow.
People giving me plants, they don't live, man. They don't. I'm gonna have flowers, lilies, all that. They just die because I don't take care of them right. But this thing, the pump comes on, the water goes up, it comes down like rain every 15 minutes or whatever the timer's set.
Wow.
You put fresh water in. When it gets down, you put more water in, and they grow. I planted my first crop in September 2019, and by October 2019, we're eating.
Wow.
As a matter of fact, we had to learn, because just farming, y'all, this is serious. The aphids and all the things, They can happen. I don't know how they get in the house, but they get in the house. They come in there and the little aphids. My wife spends times and hours daily making sure to kill the little aphids. We had some plants that we got from outside that came in, so they were there. Okay, so praise God. But now she's growing out, so we're slowly getting rid of them little boogers. Okay. And because we could buy ladybugs, but she don't want no bugs flying around the house. So ladybugs will handle the aphids. Right. Oh no flying insects, no. So we got 2 now, and so what we're doing now is this one's growing, and as we harvest, we're now planting the other one back. Okay. So we eat fresh produce daily. Christmas, spices and all things you did. We didn't buy none of that this year.
So this is interesting because, and the reason why I brought that topic up is because you are also looking at opening up a homeless place, a housing system for people either exiting prison,
prison reform,
and so this would be part of that
community garden.
It would be a community garden, and then the individuals there would be involved in this. So there's a lot going on.
Yeah,
there's a lot that you're
stuff I ain't even talking
about.
It's
all coming together.
Yeah, literally.
You've got some things going on with some water.
Yeah.
You got some stuff going on there, and you're trying to get the cities involved. You're trying to get the churches involved, the local governments,
clubs and organizations, Lions. In Los Palos right now, we got a project that I put together for 12 towers.
Right.
12 of the big towers. Mine are about 5.5 feet tall. Okay. I'm trying to get 12 of the 10, 12-foot ones, and 12 of them in one place, and each organization pays the money. It's about a $12,000 project. Okay. Excuse me. Once we get all of the towers in there, where we begin to grow like 500 plants growing at a time.
Wow.
And vertical in a small space, because like I say, we're not spreading it out all over the thing. It's growing up in the air, vertical farming. And what we'll do is, and I've got the mayor, Ms. Hogue, out in Los Palos, city manager, different organizations. We're going to come to a sit down right in the spring here, and we're going to develop this community garden where people can come. If you don't have, you can get food, fresh produce. If you do have, you can make a donation. Or if you really got enough, you can help sponsor one of these towers.
Right.
We get the churches, the monthly thing. There's 14 prominent churches in the city. We're asking each church to get one. The clubs and organizations, the Lions Club, a lot of good things. And we're gonna be a flagship for what we do. We're going into the schools. We got the local school here. The kids can get involved.
If a school, just one school, was to have a tower garden or multiple tower gardens for both educational purposes as well as to provide the school with fresh produce, this would be tremendous because the students would learn a lot about caring for the plants and growing and harvesting.
From seed to table.
As well as the schools would benefit in a decrease in budget because of the fact that now they're providing fresh organic produce to the children.
Let me tell you, there's a guy, and I'll share it with you if you want to look it up. He's called the Bronx Green Machine. This guy, Mr. Spitz, he has done it. I tell people I want to be the West Coast Mr. Green Machine. He took his, in the third most impoverished area in the United States, in the Bronx. Kids come to school and watch their parents go stand in lines to get food. Yeah. And so he's growing year-round produce.
And we're seeing that here. We're seeing here where the parents are going into the schools and eating with their children.
Best meal of the day in some cases. So if we can do this, and these are the kind of things that, like you say, you want to find out what I'm doing, go to Bruce E. Rivers on Facebook, and you'll see the majority of stuff I do, because I posted it. I got multiple other pages in my pro-life stuff, of course, but Bruce E. Rivers is my main page. And then I got my Pastor Bruce page, and I got my Mount Moriah page, and I can't keep up with all of them half the time. I share stuff.
Consolidate.
I gotta make one big page, and because it's hard trying to do. I share everything, but there is so much to do right here.
Yeah.
And you know, one reason is this is my 6th year. I began my 6th year pastoring in Los Palos, and I have to do more in Los Palos.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of times people say, well, you know, you're not here and this and that. That's true, because I'm surviving and people send for me. I thought I turned this phone down. There it goes. See, people send for me. Oh, that's my 9:37 call. I pray every morning at 9:37. To Matthew 9:37, it says, "The harvest is plentiful, but the laborers are few. Therefore, pray to the Lord of the harvest." So I'm praying for people to come and work in the church. Right. So that's what that is. So we want this city to prosper.
Yeah.
Spiritually, physically, financially, and mentally. People, they're not getting the nutrition. Right. We want people coming out of prison, prison reform. I've done it. So I'm saying what's coming out of Washington is like, hey, they're doing something.
Right.
So let's take advantage of it. Opportunity zones.
Right.
This whole downtown is an opportunity zone, and sadly, most people in California have no idea what it is.
You know, but isn't it true though that a lot of people don't want you to know?
No.
Isn't it true though that there are some individuals that would rather you not know?
Yes, the opportunity zone, because we're how do you say it without saying it? A kind of a left-leaning state. And the money this could come, these are not grants. It's not a grant program. These are where businesses come in and help create and recreate small businesses in the community.
Right.
But they're not telling nobody out here, because that would mean it would be a success for the other people over there. Yeah. So we're not going to say nothing at all about it. Right. And it blows my mind that that's how evil. The evil attitude of people. Don't say nothing about that, because they'll get credit for it. Right. I don't care who gets credit. When I tell people that the gospel means good news.
Right.
When I was in bad news, I didn't care who brought me some good news. I wasn't going to turn you down if you bringing me some news. And the good news is that Christ came, he lived, he died, he was crucified, so that I might have a right to the tree of life and have a better life. I have a better life walking with God than I ever did walking without him.
Right.
And it's just that simple for me. I'm not mad at you if you don't think it works. But hey, I'm cool.
Yeah. I
love you anyway.
Right.
And like I say, I'm going to keep riding around in my little bucket. I told people this the other Sunday, I said, I'm getting ready to get a new car. I don't know where it's coming from, but I'm getting ready to get one. And not to say I got a new car, but to say I can help a little more. Yeah. So if you want to, listen, here's the last thing I'm going to say, Dave, because I know you got to do it, and I got to go get a tire. If you would like to participate in this revival, this 81st anniversary, listen to this. If you got a PayPal account, you can go to PayPal and put in Mount Moriah FBCDP@gmail.com. And if you can donate $8.10 to that, I want 300 of my friends on my Facebook page. Just do that.
Yeah.
I got a camp coming this spring. I got a 2-acre camp over in Volta that's going to, kids will be able to go have a camping experience on a Friday night, Saturday night. We'll camp out, cook out, play all day, swimming pool, fishing in the canal, batting cage, all of that.
And it's, you know, we just want to say that it's not just kids that are, you know, involved in this religious aspect.
No.
It's for everybody.
Yeah, man, we're equal opportunity, man.
Right.
Look, of course I'd like you to have a relationship. Yeah. This ain't about religion. So let me say that perfectly well. Because one of the young men that's working with me, he said, well, Pastor, you know, I'm really not a religious person. I said, well, neither am I. Yeah. He looked at me, he said, but I said, no. Christianity is about relationship. Yeah.